What USDA foods are being offered in the school meal program? Next on Food for Thought. Hi, I'm Jodi, the host for Food for Thought, and thanks for watching. Today I'm joined by Michael Birkmeyer from the Maryland State Department of Education, and we're going to talk a lot about the USDA foods offered in Anne Arundel County and across the state. Hi Mike, welcome to Food for Thought.
Thanks for having me.
Can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, maybe personally, and then a little bit about what you do at MSDE or the Maryland State Department of Education?
Okay. I've been at the Maryland State Department of Education for over 10 years now. Before that, I've been in the food industry in both hotels, healthcare, and food distribution commercially. My job at MSDE is to run the food distribution program for the USDA food commodities. It's a $21 million a year program, and it's designed to help schools not only with meeting 20% of their food costs, but also market support for USDA domestic agriculture. And I'm one of the few people in government that's going to the participants of the program to spend money. So I'm actually making it as easy as possible for the schools in Maryland to spend their money on our program.
I can remember, Mike, going years back. I was new to my role here in Anne Arundel County. I've been here many years, but this was my first year as a supervisor, and I remember calling you up saying, how do I spend the money? Because it's a lot of money that each county is able to spend to really enhance their menus, right? To
Yes.
look at, you say it's 20%, but I really look at it very specifically in our county here.
Yes, it's actually 31 cents for every lunch you serve, and the wide variety of products is very helpful for every school district. And in Maryland, we offer close to 85 different products that the schools can use on their menus. And each school system uses different products because kids are different throughout the state of Maryland.
Wow, and out of those 85, I know we use quite a few in Anne Arundel County, and again, I have to thank you for really paving the way for us here in the county, because I think you've given us so much opportunity and so much, I guess, ability and enlightened us to be able to really make our menus a great menu for our students in the county. How about, can you share a little bit about the history of the program? So we talk about USDA Foods, and somebody listening or watching is going to say, USDA Foods. They know what USDA is because it's the United States Department of Agriculture. But what's the history of the program with the USDA Foods?
Well, it's part of the school lunch program. As we know, the school lunch program started because the military was upset about the condition of the recruits during World War II. So the government came up with the idea, let's give everybody nutritious lunch at school, and we'll have healthy recruits for the military. Back in that time, the market support for the U.S. government was basically we would pay farmers not to grow products so we could keep the market supplies, the markets constant, and the farmers could make money. And then somebody had the idea, well, why should we pay them not to grow something? Let's have them grow it and buy it, and then we can give the foods to the USDA school lunch program since we're paying for it anyway.
Right, and it was kind of nice because you know the health and the nutrient content of what they were doing too. So you have them growing certain items, and you know what you're going to be able to do for them nutritionally.
Yes,
as they go into the military.
And it's all domestic products.
Mm-hmm. How about, what are the quality of the USDA foods? So I think as a dietitian, as a mom of 2 children in Anne Arundel County, I eat the school meals. I know my children eat the school meals, and I still make the menu. So it's very nice for me to be able to look at that and see the nutrient content as the registered dietitian, and see the benefits it has for the children. You know, what kind of foods would USDA Foods offer, quality-wise, nutritionally? How do you see them when they stand in comparison to other foods?
They're, in fact, either equal or better than the commercial foods that you're buying at the grocery store each day. Our program has 3 parts. One is schools can actually get fresh fruits and vegetables delivered right to their schools on a weekly basis. They can also get what we call the direct delivery products, which are canned fruits and vegetables, diced chicken, and they can also send their food to a processor to be made into different products. As far as the canned fruits go, they're all either water, juice, or sucrose packed. All the canned vegetables already meet all the USDA sodium targets for
The current school
the current
year.
school year, actually, and all the targets through 2020. And also the fresh fruit and vegetables are same fresh fruit and vegetables you get at any grocery store or any produce company in the area. It's actually delivered by a local produce company.
Isn't that funny? Because I think the perception is always that it's a different food, right?
Yes, one of my hardest parts of my job is publicizing what a good quality food that we're actually using.
And that we really get to see it. You get to talk to all the manufacturers, right, or the growers. Your constant communication with USDA.
Yes, I'm a liaison. I talk to the USDA on a weekly basis, and the processed goods is still products you see in the grocery store. All the applesauce used in the program is either White House or Musselman's. We use Tyson chicken. All the bread is either made by Schmidt's Bakery or H&S Bakery for the state of Maryland. So it's the same products you're seeing commercially that's going to the schools.
And I like that you brought up the flour because that makes it local as well for us, and that's something that we really look for. We're always looking for new avenues to source more local fruits and vegetables. Now in Anne Arundel County, we don't use the DoD program, but we don't use it because we don't have a warehouse, and we also have a very good contract or a bid award with a local distribution center. So we're able to source kiwis and watermelon and grapefruit, and we probably have 25 different items on our produce bid. But without having a warehouse, we're able to source what we would like, spec the grade that we want, the size of it, because we need to make sure that it's the equivalent of a half of a cup of fruit or vegetable, and then it gets delivered to us weekly. So if we had a warehouse, it's done a little bit differently, correct?
Correct, and that's one of my favorite parts of my job is interacting with all the school districts in the state of Maryland because, as you mentioned, you don't have a warehouse. Baltimore County and Montgomery County, for example, have their warehouses so they can utilize more of the direct delivery products because they don't have to pay for storage. While DoD is not one of the best options for Anne Arundel County, our western counties and eastern shore counties, being the smaller counties, have trouble getting produce bids, so they can utilize the DoD to help supplement their menu. And that's the best thing about the program. It's flexible for all the different schools in the state because kids are different throughout the state.
Yeah, and not only their taste, but operationally we're all different, right? I mean, that's truly where I think you're such a benefit to us because we get to look at exactly what we need. And currently, all of our commodity dollars, we have about $1.7 million.
Yes.
Of your 21 million. 21 million. So as a county, we have a small amount, but it's a lot of money that we're able to spend. And you know from seeing our records, it's primarily always the center of the plate or what we would call the protein.
And which is part of our processing program where you can actually order the raw chicken to go to Tyson to meet a product that is your specification. And another county can be sending the same raw chicken to Tyson, but they would get a different product back because it's what they specify. Other counties, like I said, use more of the direct delivery because they don't have to pay for storage or have in your warehouse. Anne Arundel, not having the warehouse, does the processing where the bread's delivered right to the schools. The other products are delivered with your commercial products, so you can use the beef, the chicken, turkey,
Right.
and other products like that.
And it's funny that you say that because I'm also asked often, will you have a kitchen in every school? And we do in Anne Arundel County, and I know you know that from being in our schools. So all of our schools have a kitchen, and everything is cooked in the kitchen. It might be delivered to one location, and our staff members have to go pick it up, drive it back, but it's all cooked then on site. The produce is all coming into them ready to go. So butternut squash, we talked a little bit about
Yes.
that. So it's not a USDA Foods butternut squash, but it is awful local for us, but it's processed from our produce distribution into 1-inch cubes. So we get to roast it, season it, and then the students get to enjoy a beautiful product each and every day at lunch.
Right, and because the USDA Foods represents 20% of your food costs, you can use your USDA Foods money or commodity money on your chicken, beef, and bread, which allows you to use your other money on things like the butternut squash and the produce, which you're getting locally, which your kids very much enjoy.
Yeah, so it's nice. We have USDA component, we have our local component, and we're really able to capitalize on our local farms, especially for our produce piece. We're going to keep looking at more protein and looking at chicken. We already know we talked about the bread, so when all of our bread is coming from Schmidt, it's all with our USDA flour
Yes.
that is going there.
Which saves you about 10 cents a loaf of bread.
Yeah, which is a lot when you look at how many meals. So if we're doing 31,000 meals a day, bread is not always the hot item, but it would be the roll, right?
Yes,
it's the hot dog roll, it's a hamburger roll, or the roll that we do for our chicken patty. So it's really interesting to see the tie-in of here's, because we see it as a raw product. So like you said, it's just going to say chicken or it's going to say beef. And then how do we find the menu mix that best suits our students here in Anne Arundel County?
Correct. And my job is to make it as easy as possible for the schools to send that raw product, because their concerns are the local specifics that are best for their students.
Mm-hmm. Now, some people will also say, well, if it's processed, it's not going to be healthy. And as a registered dietitian, I look at that so differently. When it's processed, I know exactly what the product is. I know how large it is. So I know it's a 2-ounce serving. And that's what we're trying to, for a protein or for that center of the plate, it would be 2 ounce. I know how much fat, I know how much sodium, I know it's not a raw product coming in. So for food safety and sanitation, I believe we're giving our students in the county the best quality. It's safe, it's wholesome, and it's really going to have them fueled and ready to learn every day.
Yes, unfortunately, processed has this terminology. Everybody thinks it's bologna or hot dogs, but you have your specifics for the white meat on the chicken. You have, like as you said, the dietary concerns on the beef, but also, as you mentioned, those fresh butternut squash cubes were processed into those cubes. They're not grown into little cubes. Somebody has to cut them and prepare them. Same with the salad mix, the apple slices, and all the fresh fruits and vegetables.
I think we only have a few minutes before we go to break, but I'm thrilled you brought up apples. So we do a lot of local apples and they're whole. But we have middle school students and we have students that have braces. So I started getting some calls from schools saying they can't eat a whole apple with braces. And aren't you looking at other options? And there's a huge new item that USDA Foods is now looking at and that we procure. It's apples, and they come in the little half-cup servings and sliced.
Mm-hmm. And you've ordered the bulk apples to go to the processor, who sends them in the different. You can get 1, 2, or 3 ounce bags, and it's sent to the schools. And it's funny. My son's actually student teaching in an elementary school, and he said, "Dad, you work in the school lunch program. Why do we give small kids with no teeth whole apples? It doesn't make any sense." But now we can utilize the product. The kids like it. They're getting nutrition, and it's a good product.
And it's funny because think years ago, right? We would have not been having this discussion,
Correct.
Right? We would have never thought to have that sliced and put in individual bags that are already pre-measured. So calorically, it's perfect for the student. It meets the USDA half-cup serving, right? So we're teaching proper serving sizes. They can eat it. They can like the taste of it and not have to worry about no teeth or teeth with braces.
And then go home and have apples, not during school. So we've also met our educational component.
Right. So, and we always say here, we cultivate communities of wellness by having healthy children, healthy schools, and then ultimately they go home and they can cultivate wellness in the whole community. So that's a perfect area to talk about, and to see how that apple, they could talk about it here, at home, with their teachers, right? And then with their families at home, just like your son did.
And you can buy those same apple slices in the grocery store. So it's the same good product.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Good discussion so far. We're going to break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit about the expansion of the USDA Foods. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Mike Birkmeyer from the Maryland State Department of Education as we talk about the USDA Foods in Anne Arundel County and across the state.
Welcome to Anne Arundel County Public Schools' annual Hispanic Women's Day. This event was created in 2012 to honor and recognize the dedication of Hispanic mothers and their support of the school system. The purpose of the event is to educate and inspire Hispanic women to take better care of themselves in order to provide better care for their children and families. The event theme is Un Día para Mí, or A Day Just for Me, in which we partner with other county departments and community organizations. Participants will have the opportunity to hear from speakers on various topics, including empowerment, health and disease prevention, positive parenting, stress relief, amongst others. On behalf of the Planning Committee, we'd like to take this time to thank you for watching and learning about this wonderful event. To learn more about how you can get involved with Un Día para Mí, please see our contact information and link on the screen.
I'm Corporal Gamble with the Anne Arundel County Police. In regards to school safety, there are certain items that are not allowed in school. Weapons, anything that can be construed as a weapon, cannot be brought to school. Things like switchblades, knives, anything with a sharp point, fingernail files, guns of any sort cannot be brought to school. Also, illegal drugs, prescription drugs, unless they are issued by the health room, cannot be brought to school. Tobacco products of any sort, alcohol, anything of that nature is not something that you can have in school.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned to Food for Thought. My guest is Michael Birkmeyer from the Maryland State Department of Education, and we're talking a lot about USDA Foods. Mike, in the first segment, we talked about the program USDA Foods offers all districts across the country, and specifically in the state of Maryland, you are the chief of food distribution, which I really do like your title. So I work with you often on how we receive USDA foods, how we spend our money to buy USDA foods, and you really guide us through the whole process of what are others doing, what are best practices, and enlighten me every time I call with more facts and more ways to make our program better in Anne Arundel County. So to pick up where we left off, we talked a lot about the products that we receive, but we didn't talk about our students and how sophisticated they're getting with their palates. We both have children, so we know. Right?
Yes.
I mean, they eat differently anymore. They're not what we were eating when we were young. So as they get more sophisticated and their flavor profiles are more sophisticated, do you see the foods, not only in Anne Arundel County, but across the state changing as well?
Oh, yes. And the USDA Foods has evolved with that. For example, lately it's been the Asian foods, where schools can take the chicken leg and send it into a great Asian food product like Mandarin chicken or Kung Pao chicken. Throughout the country, there's Hispanic food has gone, and they can use the products for that type of food. And that's how the USDA program has evolved. It's taking the raw product and sending it to the processor, so each school district can use the food the way they want into the product that best fits their needs for their students.
And I think in Anne Arundel County, Mike, we have so many different Asian lines. So I've got to think, I think it's on Tuesday, so I still do the menu. On Tuesday, we have over 7 variations now of an Asian line that comes with the whole grain rice. So there's cherry blossom chicken, there's teriyaki, there's orange, there's a spicy, there's a buffalo, there's a kung pao, and a general Tso. I mean, there's so many variables out there, and I love when we do the testing. So I think we're not unlike any others. We try the product first. So when you tell us the product's available, we try it. We always look at the cost, because unfortunately we do have to be able
Correct.
to pay for it. We don't have any funding that comes from the Board of Education, so we are self-funded from the school meals themselves. But once we get the students involved and we get to see their flavor profiles, like the new cherry blossom chicken is going over so well, and it's sweet, but it's tangy. The chicken is a white meat inside. It is so good, and it's interesting to see what they like and how often they want it. So we're even doing it on entree salads.
Yes, just statewide, we introduced that product, I believe, 3 years ago. We've gone from about 100,000 pounds of chicken statewide to this year we're well over 1 million pounds.
Wow.
The apples have only been in for 2 years now, and we tripled our usage. We're probably going through 2 million pounds of the raw apples to get to the sliced apples throughout the state of Maryland, because as I talk to my counterparts in the country, the food service directors in the state collaborate on different things, and once one school has a winner for their students, obviously the other schools will try it. And that's another evolvement of the program, sending the raw products to be processed. Potatoes, you can send all the raw potatoes to the manufacturer and get any type of potato product. We send the raw tomatoes to make ketchup and salsa and that type of product. In the future, they're looking at doing the same thing for carrots, for possibly beets, as well as bulk milk to be changed into yogurt. So that way, one product's going in and they can send hundreds of products around the country to the different schools based on the specifications of the local school districts.
Wow, you just said like 5 things in there that I could comment on. I'm like, whoa, that was so much. But the tomatoes, I think, is a huge one. So as a county, we always just bought ketchup, right? And obviously for those viewers watching it, for a parent out there, a grandparent or any kids put ketchup on
everything.
Everything. That, and it seems like low-fat ranch dressing
Yes.
go on a lot of things. But with ketchup, we just always bought ketchup. We just bought it commercially. We would look at the sugar content or the sodium content, obviously, because it's all part of the makeup of the meal. But I think you enlightened us a few years ago saying you have dollars left on USDA Foods. How are you not taking that tomato and making ketchup? And now it's all processed to our ketchup, our marinara sauce, and we even do little individual cups of salsa. So it's really been an eye-opener for us of a product that we never processed, or we just never thought to process.
And that's a great part of the program. That 20%, people think tomatoes and ketchup, it's not an expensive product, but even if you save a little bit on that, you can spend more money as going back to the fresh cubed butternut squash. Okay.
And it's thousands of cases. I wish I even
yes.
had, but there's so much ketchup that we use here. So that was just like a no-brainer. And then we also, even on our pizza, so if the flour goes for the crust, we send tomatoes now
For the paste.
for the sauce.
And cheese for the cheese. So you're saving on all three components. And once again, it's all made with high quality domestic products.
Right. Now, one of the new items that we recently started to try, and I know we're menuing it this year, we menued a little bit last year, is just a simple chicken drumstick. And we're shocked at how well that's going over. So it is a USDA food. We get it through Tyson Foods. It's a finger food.
Yes.
Our students love finger foods, but like you and I discussed earlier, so do we.
So do we.
Right.
And it's also what kids are seeing in the commercial world when they go out.
And that's what we always take the pulse of. What do they see when they're in a restaurant? How can we do it that it's a similar taste, a similar profile, but I get to always, look at it and say nutritionally, I know we're more sound. I know we're healthier than that option that could be frying, could be adding extra salt and all those things to it to make it not as healthy and not as appealing as ours in
Yes.
school meals.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about, we touched a little bit about the grocery store piece, but when we buy something from USDA Foods, like you said, it is a commercial product. So it's the same product that they would see in a grocery store. It's usually just packed differently.
It's actually most of the what we call direct delivery is actually the same commercial equivalent. So, for example, the applesauce is Musselman's and White House. The same applesauce that's going to a grocery store in Maryland is going to the USDA Foods program. The tuna is actually Chicken of the Sea for the tuna that's available. The chicken is going to Tyson's or Pilgrim's Pride, which are selling in the grocery stores as well. Red Gold and Heinz are doing the tomato products in Maryland. So the same products are commercially going to the schools. And actually the schools actually healthier because of the new sodium, fat, and dietary guidelines that the USDA is imposing for the school lunch program.
How about on the applesauce? We don't use it, so it's something I'm unfamiliar with in Anne Arundel County, but it comes in the little cups or bulk, correct?
It comes both. The little cups have become very popular because, one, they're shelf stable and they can be used, it's operationally easier for the schools. Most of the applesauce in the eastern part of the country is actually coming from the Chambersburg, Pennsylvania area, Winchester, Virginia area. So it is basically locally produced. And one of the things the USDA is trying to do is to get better shelf-stable fruits and vegetables because it makes it much easier operationally for the schools.
And I know we do the raisins.
Yes.
Which are USDA, and I think 3 truckloads, I believe, this year of raisins. So, little 1 ounce box. I mean, the students love it.
And craisins is another, or dried cranberries is another avenue that the USDA is looking at getting a portion control size.
Yeah, and I like that because I think what we teach our students is that portion control piece, right? I think it's a simple calories in, calories out. We have to look at our exercise and our activity and our movement, but so many people just think, the bigger the better. The 5 ounces of this is going to be better and healthier, where if we could exercise right portion control, we're all going to be in a better place.
Exactly.
Our students, our children, us as adults, and the elderly. As soon as we could really look at that, I think it really all makes sense. Let's talk a little bit about training.
Okay.
I think as a registered dietitian, in my field, we always are looking for training. There's now national professional standards in place for all food service personnel, right? We have to attend trainings. We have to, I guess, look at learning objectives and what's the measurement at the end of the training? How do we apply it to our positions? And it's something that you do very well. MSDE does a great job all the time, but I really love to do your trainings. So could you share a little bit with the viewers, what do you do? How do you feel that you could empower me and give me the tools I need to be a better director in Anne Arundel County?
Sure, that's one of the most enjoyable parts of my job, is getting out to the schools to see how the program can best fit the schools. We have 4 quarterly meetings between MSDA and the schools, which I'm on the agenda for, but specifically I have what's called a commodity processing show every December, where we have 3 hours of training in the morning, and then all our processors actually display their foods so all the directors can go and sample the different foods that are available. We also are involved with the Maryland School Nutrition Association. We have an annual conference every October where we have training as well as a food show for that. As well as I'm involved in the American Commodity Distribution Association, which is ACTA is the acronym, which is all the growers, USDA, and the states in the country working to make the program better. We have an annual conference once a year, plus 3 meetings throughout the year. Plus I'm in daily contact with, or weekly contact with the USDA, where I can get the better ideas, and then it's my job to pass it on to the schools.
Right. Is there only one of you in each state, like your position, or would a larger state have multiples of you? I'm not sure.
Correct. It all depends. There's only one of me in Maryland. However, some states has as many as 10, but once again, where our entitlement is 21 million, Texas and California have close to 200 million to spend.
Wow.
We only have, if you include the Archdiocese, 25 school districts. Pennsylvania has over 800. We're very lucky in Maryland to be county-based for school districts.
Well, and I like it because the ability for us to collaborate and partner and in the one-on-one dialogue that we get to have, I think is priceless.
Yes.
The students at the end get the benefit every day.
Yes, because we can pick up the phone and talk to anybody in the state and get an answer and help solve their problems. But also, for example, Anne Arundel County might be short on chicken and need chicken, where Hartford County has extra chicken and needs beef, so I can facilitate moving products around so all the schools have all the products they need.
Yeah, and I know we've done that. We do that almost every year. I either call you and I say Anne Arundel's running low, or another district already called, right?
That's right.
And I think that really showcases the empowerment of us working together and the relationships that we have, that it really ultimately gives us a great product.
Yes, and also it helps us utilize inventory. Nobody wins when there's extra inventory at places, so we can utilize that inventory and everybody's happy, so we can start the next school year off fresh.
Yeah, you really give us the foundation we need to make the right choices, to spend our money, like
That's
you
right.
say, and you've taught me to do that very well, so I thank you for that. And to really grow the group of our colleagues that are coming through the field so they can make the right decisions and do what's right for kids.
Yes, and we want to keep the program going. I've been in my position a little over 10 years, and there's only 3 directors from when I started that are still directors now. So there's been a turnover at that level as people retire and move to different things. So it's essential to have the training around so the program stays consistent.
And I think you said it before the show with me that, the staff that we have in Anne Arundel, you see us when we're out there,
Yes.
and we're dedicated, we're passionate about the foods that we're selecting for our students in this county to make sure it tastes great, it is healthy, and it's affordable
Yes.
for our menu.
Yes.
So thank you
Yep.
for coming in. I think it's a great show to be able to showcase USDA Foods, and especially the partnership that we have together, and how you enhance our menu, make our menu the mix the best it could be for the students in Anne Arundel County.
I appreciate you having me. This is a great opportunity.
Great, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
As you can see, USDA foods are so important to us in Anne Arundel County, across the state of Maryland, and across the whole country. Folks like Mike here from MSDE really give us the training we need. They help us with our menu mix and the enhancements to the menus to make sure our students are fueled and ready to learn each and every day. If you have any questions about the school meals program, you can call me at any time at 410-222-5900. Thanks for watching Food for Thought, and turn in for the next segment next month.